Hello, this is video number 4 and we're doing some very loose watercolours of flowers that I've just found in the hedgerows and a couple in my garden. Okay, so in videos 1, 2 and 3 we did some kind of loose practice of loose watercolours. We did the Montbretian and we did this Oxide Daisy. So in this one we're going to have a go at doing these foxgloves, so some lovely pinks. And I'm using some watercolour paper, but it's absolutely fine to use any kind of fairly heavy duty paper. Like I say, I often use wallpaper lining. And my paints are these Koh-i-Noor paints that I've shown you in the first couple, and so that's the Koh-i-Noor one there. And just lots of practice, lots and lots of practice of watching watercolour do what it does, not blending too much, just letting it float together. Okay, so the drawing of my, what do we call these? Foxgloves, keep forgetting what they're called. Very, very loose drawing. Remember, this is a drawing for painting, it's not a drawing for drawing's sake. So I don't want my drawing to show, but I want to start with this looseness so that the whole thing kind of has this loose feel to it. If I start with a very tight, careful drawing, all I will do when I start to paint is colour it in. And this is not about colouring it in. This is about the joy of watercolour and what it does. So I've just done for this main flower here. I can see up there, you can't see there, the kind of beautiful little, I don't know if you can get that, the little lovely blotchy dots inside the foxgloves. So I've got it at an angle where I can get those. And so I've got this sort of trumpety shape going down like that. And then those dots are kind of here, coming inside. Now that one, I'll just try. It comes there with the dots kind of inside here. Now those little bits are kind of little shapes that shoot off, and then the green I'll kind of do with paint as we go along. So just going to move that out of the way. I haven't got a terribly good red or pink on these paints, so I'm going to use this little one here is perfect, so I'm going to have a go with that one. Again, just a fairly ordinary brush, nothing fancy. If you've got a fancy brush, please use it, but you don't need to. I don't want to be telling people to start buying expensive stuff, because that's not what it's about. Again, wateriness. So I'm going to do the trumpety shapes first of the tube here. So very wet to start with. Let's get the very wetness of this as well. Now the inside where I've got those little dots, I don't want that all wet. I'm going to do those separately because they are going to be a little bit defined. I don't want them all bleeding into each other. So, but this here, so I'm going to try and get that colour. I have a little mess down here. So I've got this pinky colour here, and as always I'm going to just sort of have little tryouts around the edge of my painting. So really we're not making a painting that's got to be perfect, we're practicing really, so don't get yourself kind of worried about, see that pink is too brown, it's too orangey, and I really want the kind of bluish cerise pinks here. So I'm going to start with that one, maybe go in with a bit of purple. Oh no, that's far too strong, that purple. Again, so it's really about getting to know your paints well. So I'm going to start with this and maybe have a darker shadowy colour. Right, what have I got here? Some lighter bits. So this pink I'm just going to float on like that. Okay, and that one there, just going to float it on. Right, that sort of overlaps. Okay. floating that on. Right, then I'm going to get a darker colour because there's some dark shades within there. Okay, so I've got a mix of purples and cerise going on there. I'm just going to pick that up from, I'm almost using my paper like a little mixing palette. So I've got those trumpety shapes, but I've got this very frilly edge. So I'm just going to use the water to make that. And that just drags with it a little bit of that cerise colour that's already in. And that's probably for now enough. Right, I'm going to leave that to dry a bit and start doing the green and come back to that in a moment. So my greens, I've got, it's quite a light green, so I'm going to stick with this lightish green and maybe dab a bit of yellow with that to get a kind of two varieties of greens. So let's have a look at the green on my foxglove. Let me see that. I've got like a little cuppy shape around the base of the trumpet. Cuppy shape like that. So each of these have like a little cup. I'm going to put a daub of dark green as my sort of shade in the middle of those. Oh yeah, that's looking cool. And then back to my stem. And then the stem actually has lots of nice little kind of brushy leaves. So I'm just going to do each leaf as a little brush stroke. Simple as that. Job done. Okay. I'm now going to come back to these the centres. Now this, it's like looking up inside the little funnel. It's quite dark, so I'm going to have to mix that purple and this pink to get that dark cerise. I could even try a tiny touch of green in that to make it slightly a muddier colour, because it actually is quite dark in there. Yeah, I quite like that colour. So that's my centre. Not much you can see in that one. Actually, I'm going to just add that colour as a little bit of the shade in that, almost defining it slightly. Actually, it's a good colour for the little dots. So I'm just going to add my little dots that's coming out. Within. About those. Okay. Now around each one of those dots is a kind of white. Now that's difficult to do in the time of this, but I might just go around each of these little dark dots with some white, but better if that was a bit drier and we had a bit more time. Add a bit more pink inside the centre of this. Okay, and what I can do, just to give this a little bit more definition, I can go in with a marker pen and just play around a little bit. Actually, that's better when it's dry, actually, and just kind of start to define this a little bit more. But not too much, like I say, we don't want it to start looking like a cartoon. Okay, so we're getting there. We're getting there with my watercolour flowers. This really is about you experiencing the flowers that are growing around you in a new and different way. It's not about being a perfect painter, but it's a little bit about you exploring how to use your paints in you know, a really nice relaxing sort of way. Okay, if you're watching this on YouTube, any of these videos, could you like and subscribe? Thank you very much, and I'll see you another time. Thank you.